So if you're currently working on getting your crafting skill to the next level, you will notice very soon that you're going to need a lot of refining agents, with the tier 3 one being crossweave, coarse sandpaper, tannin, and sandflux. Now these components are needed when you want to get to the next tier of resources that you need for crafting the next tier items. So in the case of wood, for example, you have timber, which is made from green wood you just collect. But then when you want to make the tier 3 version of your crafting materials, you're going to need to merge that timber with aged wood, and you need a refining agent for that. You have something similar for stone or for smelting, where you're going to need one of those 4 components. I continuously find myself running out of these reagents, and while you can actually buy them from the trading post, it will get expensive over time. There is another way you can get them, and that is why converting them from one type to another by the use of a common material converter. The material converter can be purchased from your faction vendor. Once you reached the second level or second tier of your faction, you can purchase these for 100 reputation points. Now, to use those common material converters, you go to the workstation in question that you want to make the materials for. In the case of a woodshop, for example, it is the coarse sandpaper. In the case of a smelter, it would be a sandflux recipe. The refining material conversion recipe of your choice you select. You then will waste 1 common material converter. You select the resource you want to use to convert from. In this case, say for example I have a lot of tannin, and then it will take 20 of that resource and convert it into 15 of the resource you're interested in. The problem with that, of course, is that it's finite. If you run out of resources, you're going to run out eventually of being able to convert those resources. To obtain these resources from loot, you're going to have to find supply crates or supply caches. And by looting them, you will get 1 or more of those resources. Now, to find those crates, you mainly just have to look for farms. You know, these little yellow buildings here that you can see, that's usually where you find them. Or you find them on the road along the way, or maybe on big farms. You find them like in the open, or as well inside the buildings. So I spent some time last night trying to find a route that I'm happy with, that I can do in a okay short amount of time, not too long, do a circuit, and then have a couple of hundred of those resources again that I'm happy with and that keep me going for a little while, converting my resources to level up my crafting skills. Now I'm going to show you the route that I'm taking that works for me, but that's not the best by far, and there's plenty of better ones most likely. And if you have any of them, please share them in the comments below. Absolutely appreciate it. The good thing about these routes is it doesn't matter how many people run them or know them, because everybody can loot those crates. I like to start my route in the settlement of Windsward, exit through the north gate, and then head west over to Cooper's Ranch. When you start your run, make sure that the area you're in, the mobs are not going to out-level you, because you will probably go into houses which have 2 or 3 of those withered sitting in there waiting for you, so make sure you can kill them. Now we are here at my first location at the Cooper's Ranch, and I'm not going to show you every single building or location of crates. It is very straightforward. You get to the location, you go into the buildings, you look at the crate, and if it's a supply crush, supply crate, or big chest, loot it. Now there is provision crates as well. They give you usually foods like tomatoes or other things. Loot them as well. I will definitely along the way as I come across them for cooking recipes, but otherwise I'm just mainly looking for chests like the supply crates and supply chests, like the ones we have right in here, for example, which is what I'm looking for. Now what you get is always random. They don't always give you sandpaper, sandflux, or sometimes not even give you 2 of the resources. They sometimes give you none and give you 1 of those green perk materials like the bells or the charms instead. Now with location 1 done, I'm heading down south from there to Merrill's place. Again, same drill as before. I'm just going through all the buildings and then keep my eye out just around the buildings, sometimes in the open spaces, especially the farms, to see if there's any open crates that I can loot along the way. This is the other crates I'm talking about, which is the provisions crates. They spawn in a few locations as well, and they give you some cooking resources. And as you can see there, we have one of the magical plants that you can harvest. But unlike the crates, only 1 person can get them, then they're gone. Meanwhile, the crates, again, everybody can loot them. Now, once you finish with Merrill's place, I'm going to head down to Moe's Farm. Now, Moe's Farm doesn't have a lot of buildings. It is very tiny, but it has a nice big stockpile, and it has a cashier sitting right there as well. It has a couple of level 13 mobs, so make sure you're able for them. And between the stockpile and the cache, you should be getting a few good resources as well. Now, if you're up for the challenge, before you head over to Willette's Homestead, you can go past these pirate areas. I say up for the challenge because depending on at what level you want to do it, these guys here are level 14 and some are level 16 further up into the area, and they do some special attacks as well. So if you're up for that, absolutely head in here as well. Each of the buildings, or most of the buildings, also have more supply crates as well and supply caches. Definitely something I would check out as well. Now here in the final room, you have to be careful. There is a level 16 kind of mini boss. They have the gray shields, but again, definitely worth it. It's a huge supply stockpile. You want to grab that as well. Now here at Willette's Homestead, which is quite a big area, again, same principle. Go through each of the houses and casually have a look in the open areas to see what you can spot. However, the mobs are now level 18, 19, and possibly 20 as well. So definitely make sure if you're low level, make sure you're only doing the first couple of areas, and only if you're higher level, continue moving into the new areas. Once I'm done in Willette's Homestead, I'm gonna make my way over to Campos. I'm intentionally skipping Aruda Ranch. I tried this place a few times and there is zero, zilch, nada. I couldn't find a single crate anywhere there, making it worth to include it in my route. And again, remember to look at the map a little closer when you go to these areas, so that you don't just go to where you see the big icon, but the actual yellow surroundings are marking the areas you should be searching. So right here, this building, for example, you would miss if you just head straight over to where the icon is. And there's actually 2 crates here. There's a supply stockpile, which is the bigger one, which gives you quite a lot. And then you also have a provision stockpile in here, which should give you a lot of cooking resources. Also, don't forget to check the balconies themselves. Sometimes you come into a house and there seems to be nothing there, but always check outside. There was 2 stockpile crates, for example, right here on this building by itself, but nothing inside. Once I'm done with Campos, I'm gonna head right over here to the Fong family orchard. Once you completed the Fong family orchard, head right over here to the Farside Township, which has a nice big area as well, starting here with the farm, again, where you can find some good cooking resources along the way, as well as harvesting nodes. Now this farm, Farside Township, has actually quite a few more crates sitting on the outside of buildings as well as inside, so make sure you scan the actual farms as well, but they are guarded by level 19, 20 creatures, so again, make sure you're up for that. Once I'm done in Farside Township, I make my way over to Lakeside Farm, but I'm going past this crossroad here for 2 reasons. One is you have 2 Dragon Glories right here, and the other is right here at the crossroad, you have this little campsite which has another 2 supply crates right here. Now there's some wolves you want to kill. 1 crate is here and 1 is here. Once you get into Lakeside Farm, there's also 2 oil resources or seeping stone that you can mine. There's no crates here, so you can skip that otherwise unless you're interested in the seeping stone. But again, go through the buildings that are around this lake and you're gonna find more supply crates here. Now also on this farm, be very careful. There's a very nice little corner here where you have several crates and a huge stockpile. But not only is there about 4 mobs in total around this area, you have this huge Neanderthal here, which also keeps doing its rounds, which you probably can't take on if you're just in your early or mid-20s. This guy is pretty tough. But just watch out where he's walking, avoid him, and you can go and comfortably loot these stockpiles and these chests as well. Once I'm finished with the Lakeside Farm, that's it. In the end, I did everything I showed you. We also got some recipes, actually, by the way, from the provision crates, which is just an added bonus, if I might say so. But in the end, what we got was quite a lot. I mean, this was a run that took me now, including the time it took me to actually talk about this, pause it, and record, took me an hour. And this was 325 tannin, 596 crossweave, 624 sandflux, 385 sandpaper, and 404 solvent. This is going to last me for a good bit. Again, if I need more of one than another, I use the common material converter to convert 20 of one into 15 of another. And the mileage could vary though. I'm not sure if it's depending on your level or not. You could be getting more or less resources every time you loot. If it scales with your level, I'm not really sure. I don't think any of the harvesting skills or anything have anything to do with it. I think if anything impacts it, it could be purely your character level. So just to recap, we started here in Windsworth Settlement, then we headed over to Cooper's Ranch, which is about a level 8 area, then we headed south over to Merrill's place, which is a level 8-9 area, then we took a very quick stop at Mo's farm. Now, Mo's farm is about level 13. It does a big leap then there in level. And then if you want, you can head over to these two places here, which is the Buccaneers Creek and Buccaneers Fall places. Now, remember, there's a level 16 silver shield there. So if you don't feel like you're up for it, skip that altogether and head straight over to Willette's Homestead. Willette's Homestead is then level 18, 19 mobs. And then from there, we're going straight over to Campos, which has about level 23, 24 mobs, which is, I think, the highest level mobs en route, except, of course, for the big Neanderthal at Lakeside Farm. And then from here, we're heading straight over to the Fong family orchard. And then from there, we're heading north over to the Farside Township. Now, when we make our way over to the Lakeside Farm, we're going to take a very quick pit stop at the Moonshade Crossing, where we have some Dragon Glory. And on the other side, we have a couple of more crates in a little camp. And then we're going to head over to Lakeside Farm, which is the last stop. Again, a lot of crates around the area where that big dude spawns, but all well worth it. All in all, this took approximately an hour. Now, this is just the route that I use. There could be 20 better different routes, especially on a lower level. If you have one yourself that you want to share, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope it helped you in a way, and I hope it helped you save some money if you have been buying these resources off the trading post. It's an hour well spent, to be honest. And if you have a couple of friends, even on low levels, you can blast through this pretty quickly. I hope you had a good time with the video. If you did, remember to kick that like button in the balls, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. And see you guys next time. Until then, as always, viel Spaß and happy gaming.